This is another episode of the Flight Ringers podcast. I'm David King. That's Dan Spottswood.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
We are professional cartoonists, and we are Legion of Superheroes experts. Legion of Superheroes number 7. This is a letters page. Usually it's called Legion Outpost, but this one's called Bridging the 5 Years Gap. I guess that implies that we're going to be talking about all the stuff that happened in the 5-year period between the previous series and this one, right? Just kidding, not really. We're going to be talking about Legion of Superheroes issue number 4, I think is what all the letters are about.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
The first letter is from Michael Baker, Tucson, Arizona. He says that he likes it, and he also doesn't like it, issue number 4. He says, welcome to, quote unquote, welcome to Crisis 2.
Oh, because it has an exclamation mark. Yeah. I thought I missed a crisis somewhere along the way. Or maybe he was counting some of those. You know, there was like a dozen crises before Crisis. Crisis on Earth S. Crisis.
Well, I wonder if he has a crisis really at the drop of a hat. He seems like he gets upset easily and jumps to a lot of conclusions. He says he liked the issue as an issue, but I think he doesn't like the implications, the potential story developments that come out of it. And he says, what's wrong? Well, get ready for this. He doesn't like the Catch-22 ending. Let's just describe the issue. This is Legion of Superheroes number 4. This is the one where Mon-El kills the Time Trapper and reboots all of history, I guess. And it ends with everything goes to white, and we, as readers, we don't know what's coming up next. We don't know what's going to happen now.
He thought it was a well-told story, an enjoyable story, but he doesn't like what it portends for the future.
Right. He says the Catch-22 ending of that issue now allows Keith Giffen to RAPE the 30th century. He's upset that there would be no Superboy or Supergirl, no Elastic Lad, Insect Queen, Mon-El, or Dev-Em. Mordru's running rampant is what he's imagining. And then he says, Karate Kid never married Princess Projectra.
Yeah, I don't get that one.
I don't know how that happened. Yeah, how that would have happened if there's no Time Trapper, I guess, or whatever.
Superboy set him up on their first date.
Must be, yeah. Anyway, he has this whole slippery slope scenario that he's imagining.
Right. Reactionaries love slippery slopes.
Yeah, he's definitely maybe a Legion extreme fundamentalist. Mm-hmm. And so he imagines a scenario where they're not really superheroes anymore. He says it's going to be boring. Or he suggests, are you going to just leave your readers guessing as to which past stories happened and which ones didn't, just like you're doing in other DC comics? How frustrating. I don't know. I was never frustrated by this stuff, like of which stories happened and which ones didn't. All through these letters pages we've been reading for the last year and a half, there's all these dumb fucks who are like this, you know? Like, did it happen? Did it not happen? Like, is it real or is it not real? I don't know. Like, they're comic books. It's a story. It's really there.
He's kind of contradicting himself. He says, how boring. And then right after that, he says, are you going to leave your readers guessing? I mean, the ambiguity, is what is going to make you want to continue reading or watching whatever it is. Trying to figure the unknown is what helps make it interesting, not the reverse.
This guy thinks you can make it not boring and not ambiguous. Mm-hmm. Somehow you can tell a person every single thing that's about to happen, and it's still exciting.
It's a bullshit charge to begin with, because you don't need Mon-El to punch the universe out of existence to have to, like, every character that's been around for decades. The people writing them haven't read or remember every issue. They invalidate things all the time. They rewrite, they rework things the characters do contradict things that happened 200 issues previous. They're like constantly shifting, and stories are being slowly forgotten or massaged and changed. And Superman and Spider-Man and all those books.
If you say so. I guess now this guy, he's speaking not just to Keith Giffen, but he's speaking to you, Dan Spottswood. invalidating the work of so many fine artists and writers just to feed Keith Giffen's ego is a criminal waste and
Right.
display of complete disregard and disdain for your readers. You goofed. You just told me you don't care about Jerry Siegel, the creator of Superman. You don't care about Jerry's work. You think it's garbage and you're throwing it in the trash.
Continuity is a myth. Like, you create the illusion of continuity. There's no true continuity. Maybe if the same guy wrote the entire run.
Yeah. Anyway, Michael Baker, he says all of that bullshit, but then he's like, but hey, maybe I'm just jumping the gun here. Yeah, you are. You don't know anything.
Right.
You're throwing down a lot of condemnation on a total hypothetical that you invented.
Yeah, it almost seems kind of like a threat. I'll keep reading unless you do this, so don't do this.
Yeah, maybe you can pull this off without destroying the continuity that has been a contributing factor of 30 plus years of success. I'm willing to stick around for a little while to find out. What a lame-o. This guy's lame.
Hey, Michael Baker, have you ever heard of Lightning Boy?
When they changed it from Lightning Boy to Lightning Lad, they threw out all those contributions of the Al Plastino and Otto Binder.
Right.
Like, how dare they?
Remember when Supergirl first met the Legion and they were the children of the original members?
Yeah, the issue after that where they weren't the children anymore, slap in the face to the people who said they were the children. How dare they? Supergirl should be canceled.
Well, she was.
But Tom and Mary say that we're not trying to do that. What you just said we were trying to do, you made up. We're just trying to retain as much as we possibly can. And the radical changes were made necessary by circumstances beyond the control of the creative team. In 2023, we know they didn't really want to do that. They had
right.
You have more to say?
I want to ask the last sentence they make confuses me.
Oh, the beer bombs? Oh yeah, I noticed that too. No, they say for now, our hope is that little of substance that hasn't been changed will be changed.
And what is being changed will make for stories you'll like as much or more. Does that make sense? Yeah. What is the little of substance that hasn't been changed will be changed?
I don't know. See, what they mean is what has already been changed. We hope little outside of what has already been changed will be changed. That's what they mean, I think.
Right.
And that what is being changed will make for stories you like. That makes sense. They hope that of the stuff that hasn't been changed, after now, we hope that little of it will be changed because they're saying there will probably be additional changes, but we hope they are not substantive.
Right. I think I get it now.
Yeah. I mean, I read it too and didn't get it. Reading it now, half drunk at 1:40 in the morning, it's starting to make some sense.
Right. I didn't know that Klaus Janson was a Legion fan.
Klaus Janson, the inker of The Dark Knight Returns. He writes in from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Canada. This is a very positive letter. I love what you've done to this magazine. But he's asking about Largand, Mon-El, and the Pocket Universe. If the Pocket Universe was destroyed, as shown in Superman, how can Pocket Universe Largand have a descendant in the form of Eltrogand? I guess first he says that if Mon-El is from the Pocket Universe, where almost everyone has a nearly exact twin of themselves in the regular universe, like Superboy and Superman, wouldn't there be a Largand, the 20th century Daxam of the regular DC universe, outside the Pocket Universe?
And the answer is there wasn't a Pocket Universe Largand. He was routed by the Time Trapper into the Pocket Universe. He comes from the regular Legion, but that was not clear at this time.
I guess from this letter, I got the impression that Tom and Mary feel that the Mon-El we've had up to now was from the Pocket Universe, but any Largand we have from now on is going to be the Largand from the regular DC universe.
Okay.
A guy we've never really seen before, I guess.
Okay.
This letter writer suggests that you could say Eldrogand is a descendant of the actual DC universe Largand. I guess
Who
they could do
could
that.
be the one who's in Legion 89, right?
Yeah, the Largand. Yeah, there's some 20th century Largand from the regular DC universe, and there's his duplicate that's the Largand from the Pocket universe. And I guess
But it,
because Time Traveler made such a big fuss about Mon-El, that guy must be the Pocket universe Largand Mon-El.
except even Silver Age, Mon-El was a Daxamite. And we've been told that, not at this point, but we're later told that the only two planets in Pocket Universe that had life on them were Krypton and Earth.
Oh. Well, but didn't Time Trapper tell Mon-El that he created him in issue 4? Didn't he tell him that?
He told him he created Superboy. He does kind of refer to all the Legion as his creations, but I think he means more like he shaped them.
Yeah, but I was just re-watching this video today,
Okay.
and the Time Trapper says to Mon-El that, like at the end of issue 4, or the last half of issue 4, when Mon-El's in Brainiac 5's lab and then disappears, and Time Trapper's like, I've brought you to the universe that spawned you, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Making you think that, Mon-El is also from the Pocket universe, Pocket dimension, where all those Kryptonians came from, I guess. Superboy, and I guess maybe just Superboy. I don't know if they've talked about Supergirl being from the Pocket universe, or evidently the Kryptonian criminals are from the Pocket universe.
See, I thought Supergirl was not from the Pocket Universe.
Yeah, maybe she's not. Dev M is from the Pocket universe.
No, he's a Daxamite.
He becomes a Daxamite. Originally, he's the Knave from Krypton.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I'm too tired to really think this through too deeply, but the whole Pocket Universe thing is full of holes because he's constantly fighting all kinds of different aliens and other superpowered people, and they say there's no superpowered people there. But then there's sort of this whole meta story where it isn't just an editorial change. It's like Time Trapper is aware that there was a Silver Age universe, and he knows that it was destroyed by Crisis. So this is a patch he's deliberately created to maintain his existence.
Yeah, because he wouldn't need to make a Pocket universe if the Crisis on Infinite Earths hadn't made Superboy obsolete or whatever.
Right. So it's like he's filling in the gap as best he can, but it isn't supposed to be 100% exactly like it was before. So some things have been invalidated. Like, I guess that means Insect Queen no longer exists, for example, because she was a super human character that was in that universe.
Well, she was the Pocket Universe Lana Lang, because every time the Legion of Superheroes went into the past, every time they went to meet Superboy, they went to the Pocket Universe, Smallville.
Yep. Pocket Universe Hitler. Or was that the real Hitler? No.
Don't even suggest that there's more than one Hitler.
Cross the multiverse Hitler squadron. I don't know.
Spider-Verse.
The Council of Cross Time Hitlers.
But Klaus Janson, he goes on to say that I've been a Legion fan for 3 years. This guy is after my own heart. He's been a Legion fan for 3 years. Big fan of Giffen's artwork, especially in the first Legion series, which we call the second Legion series. But the artwork in this new magazine tops it all. I agree. The Giffen and Al Gordon artwork in the new Legion of Superheroes definitely tops it all.
Yeah, just need a better colorist.
Oh, shit.
Who doesn't try to write the book?
Oh, son of a... I mean, he didn't... It's not that he tried to. He did it. He was the writer of the comic book.
He tried to write it.
You think he got the other guys fired so he could write it?
Yeah, some backstabbing going on there.
Yeah.
He's deliberately coloring it badly so that people can't tell what's going on. So they'll get bad feedback and sales.
But let's add some more mud color in here.
As soon as he takes
Create
over
some
writing,
relief.
everything gets really vivid.
The next letter is from G. Scott Gresham Wallace, North Carolina. He also likes the new series, but he hadn't followed the Legion since the Dark Side Saga 7 years ago. He likes the 9-panel layout, Watchman style. He calls it a 9-panel checkerboard pattern. He says it's more like watching a television program or motion picture than a regular comic. Like, do you find that the 9-panel style is more cinematic than a standard comic book?
Kind of.
But it's also a portrait size box rather than it's like watching a TikTok video.
Yeah, it does kind of take on that. That's one way of looking at it.
Well, he says he hated to see Block get killed, but it seemed a vital factor. Keep up the excellent storylines, and it makes no difference to me who gets knocked off. I'm with this guy.
Good attitude.
G. Scott Gresham. He's just along for the ride. Kill him, whatever. Just make good comic books.
Yeah.
He says he likes the costume of Mon-El on cover of issue number 4 with the open collar. It makes him seem older and less like a military school cadet.
Yeah.
And he likes the familiar interplay among the characters since these guys have known each other for a long time. He says, let's not turn it into Justice League, but those guys should be familiar with one another after all these years. You've got a great book here. Tom Ameri says, in fairness to the many readers who have criticized the 9-panel grid, we have to say more people have voiced dislike for it. I'm going to start over.
Or this Trumpian doublespeak that they answer a lot of questions with when they say both.
In fairness to the many readers who have criticized the 9-panel grid, we have to say more people have voiced dislike for it than approval, but it has attracted a number of compliments. So mostly people writing in don't like the 9-panel storytelling, but some people have complimented it. Right. Many people are saying they dislike it.
But some don't, but some do.
And the critics are still split on Keith's current art style, but he's got many approving fans.
Right.
I think this current drawing style, his current this epoch in the Keith Giffen journey as an artist I prefer it to his earlier period.
I do too.
Ed Schultes, Goleta, California. This was funny. He says, I haven't written to a comic in nearly a decade. What could prompt a response from an old man of 24? The Return of the Legion of Superheroes. So he's 24 now. The last time he wrote a letter to a comic book was when he was 14. And now he's finally got something to say after those 10 years. He generally has good things to say about the comic book, the new series.
He likes Kano and Loomis. I'm a big fan of Loomis myself. I wish he was in it more.
Yeah, they haven't used him too much yet. I don't know if he shows up a little bit more later on, tiny bit maybe.
He does. By the time Stuart Animan is drawing it, he shows up a lot for sure. I don't know if they ever really explain why he doesn't just get a bionic arm or his arm grown back, but it wouldn't be his character anymore if he just had a new arm.
Yeah, they give Shrinking Violet a new leg right off the bat, don't they? From a pro.
Well, he's not a Legionnaire, so he doesn't get the Legion healthcare, maybe.
Legion healthcare? These guys live in like a junkyard.
I know, and they have him like he's constantly having to fix it and keep them alive in there. They're making him do it with one arm.
Right. They're like, work faster. Is there some way you can make this happen twice as fast? Ed Schultes, he says, please keep on doing what you've been doing. Sharpen your focus to a few Legionnaires in any given issue and keep the stories short, 2 to 6 issues. With a definite direction. I don't want to see the LSH bogged down under the weight of too many Legionnaires and dangling subplots. He wants us to be short storylines. I think what's going to come to pass is that instead of many short storylines, it will be a single 39 issue storyline that he has to keep track of.
Yes, for sure.
Too bad. Didn't get his wish. He's probably going to quit reading.
Them's the breaks.
Simon Del Monte, Queens, New York.
Simon
What?
Giffo,
Oh,
Gordo,
oh, oh, yeah.
Tomo, Mario,
And Wadester. It's like
and
they're
Wadester.
the Marx Brothers and
Mm-hmm.
Wadester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's talking about the Pocket Universe. He says, at last you made sense of the entire Pocket Universe mess in a virtuoso performance. And then he invokes some kind of Star Trek shit that I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, seriously, this tale finally joins Levitz's jury rigged escape from the crisis to the otherwise seamless Legion universe. So I guess he is critical of the original Pocket Universe storyline and says it's jury rigged, and that issue number 4 of Legion has set it right, and now it makes sense. I don't know if I agree with any of that, really. Like the shit in issue number 4 combined with the origination of the Pocket Universe in the Death of Superboy sequence, and then in Baxter issue number 50, like, yeah, it's kind of a good capper to it. I don't think it makes it any less confusing or any more cohesive. It just kind of puts it to bed, and that's
Well,
fine.
if anything, it probably makes it more confusing, right?
I would say it's confusing, one way or the other.
Well, that issue ends with the whole universe being kind of reset, so it's way more confusing. Or it was limited just to Superboy, but now the whole history is retroactively changed.
Right. I guess it's confusing because now, post issue number 4, we don't know what's still around. And I guess that's what that other letter writer was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Only he was imagining the most complicated, stupid, whatever offensive possible way for it to play out.
Right.
Whereas I don't know. I guess the truth is that we don't know, and it's probably not a. There's probably not a Pocket Universe anymore at the very least.
There is. It's still there.
It's still
It's
there.
still there. It's going to play into later issues.
Yeah. All right. It sucks. It's complicated.
Only at 5 in the morning or whatever time it is there.
It's 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably ought to go to bed. Get through this last bit real fast.
Yeah. There are a couple good ones in here, I think. But
Bits of Legionnaire business. Somebody says, what does Queer Old Doc's XD mean as far as what kind of degree does he have? And they say he's a doctor of everything.
mm-hmm.
My next one highlighted is John Strauss. He wants to have some or all. I skipped way ahead. Hope you're okay with that.
No, I know what you.
He wants to have some or all of Infinity Incorporated journey to the 30th century and join the Legion of Superheroes. Join them. Wow, like become part of the team. Infinity Incorporated was I believe they're the grandchildren of the 1940s, like Justice Society characters like Golden Age Flash and Golden Age Green Lantern.
You're close. They are the children.
They're the children, not the grandchildren.
Well, this was 40 years ago, so, and they were already adults. Well, near adults anyway. So
yeah. And who are the young all stars?
okay, the young all stars. That's a little more complicated. That came up. Those were characters. In a lot of ways, it mirrors the Legion's troubles, because Crisis erased the Golden Age, essentially, or a lot of the Golden Age. Like characters that, like Golden Age Superman was gone, right? Because he's 35 now, and there's not another world where he's 60. So they created a guy who supposedly was there all those times we saw Superman. If I remember right, he's like Iron Morano.
Oh, Monroe. Yeah.
Monroe. And Wonder Woman, same deal. Because Perez, he didn't need to do this. I never understood why Perez did this, but he had her younger too, and just starting her career like in the 80s. Even though she's immortal, she could have been there. They decided not to. So they created like was it Fury, I think? And the Young All-Stars was largely made up of these characters that were created to fill those gaps. Yeah, but it's funny because Superman, like, it's his disappearance creating problems on both ends of the timeline,
Yeah.
like in the past and in the future.
One time I made a joke on a tweet
You?
about how there's the Teen Titans, which is
Mhm.
the sidekicks, and then
Mhm.
there's like Justice League Junior, which is the children of the Justice League,
Is that like Young Justice?
maybe. I don't know. And then there's Infinity Incorporated, which is the grandkids, where they've used the estates of the JSAers to start a company, Infinity
Yeah.
Incorporated.
Right, right.
I don't remember. It was kind of dumb. It kind of made me laugh at the time, but now I can't remember what it was. Just the distinction that there's like the sidekicks can have a team, and then
Mhm.
the children of the actual guys have a team, and they're kind of the same generation and would maybe like compete against each other. But then
Mhm.
there's the old timer people who
Mhm.
are still of a third generation. They just have all the money. I don't know. Maybe that's
Right.
what I was going for.
You'll have to retweet it when you find it.
I'll have to track that down. See what I was thinking about back then in 2020.
Man, even knows what year.
Lakewood, Ohio's Ron Graham. He's asking about Joe Naw, Ultra Boy's powers. In one of these issues, they mentioned that he will keep his ultra invulnerability going all the time and not needlessly turn it off. And it makes this guy ask, well, are his powers always displaying themselves, or is there a point where he has no powers going and has to turn them on, or does he always have one power going and switches between the three of them? He
Right.
has three powers, and so he just like switches to ultra invulnerability for most of the time versus using heat vision or
Right.
strength.
Is that how he survived that ambush in issue 2?
Yeah, like a building collapsed on him, and he's like he's dusting his shoulders off, and he's like, I never turn off my ultra
I can
invulnerability.
understand from like a fan perspective, like that sounds good. And you're like, good, then he's always protected, but it doesn't make for good stories. Like you you have to be able to hit him on the back of the head when he's not paying attention.
Right? Yeah, but the writers say that it's never really been explained in any comic whether he has ultra powers always continually expressing themselves, or if at some point they're shut off and he turns them back on.
The very first Legion story that I read with Ultra Boy in it, which made me like him a lot, was he had a simple role in it, but I think Mordrew had taken over like Chameleon Boy, and Chameleon Boy had to take Ultra Boy out, so he asked him to lift something heavy for him. He said, "Sure, no problem." Then he just clubbed him on the back of the head because you can only use one power at a time.
Oh, good
I
one.
was like, "That's clever. I like that."
Wait, Chameleon Boy clubbed him?
Yeah, the Mordrew possessed Chameleon Boy.
Oh, okay.
By making him use another power, he knew he was vulnerable, so he could, you know.
Got it. Good one. Good, whatever you call that.
Oh, here it is. The next one. I think is the only one I was sort of interested in. The one about the affair.
Yeah, Kenneth
Or
Aramdi talking about a torrid affair that they insinuated in the text page of issue 2
Mhm.
between Phantom Girl and Starboy. He says that was a typo, right? Did you look back at Adventure 326? He says, or they say that the affair between Starboy and Phantom Girl may have happened around that period.
Yeah, I mean, the response almost sounds like a joke at first, but it's so specific. Like maybe they were, according to them and their version of the story, secretly married a long
Yeah,
time
it's
ago.
like some fan speculation, and they decided to like put it into this text page
Hmm.
that Starboy and Phantom Girl maybe had a wild fling around maybe Adventure 326, and
Right.
then there's an idea that maybe that Ultra Boy and Phantom Girl secretly got married
Yeah.
in Adventure 337.
That's actually kind of a good idea. Like with the silly, rules about you can't be on the team, you're married. It would make sense that maybe a couple of them would elope.
Right, they've been secretly married this whole time, as if the other team members wouldn't know, or as if there wouldn't be some narc teammate who's like, they broke the rules, they have to quit.
Right.
I don't know who that would be. Somebody with an axe to grind.
Which one of them? Didn't we just read one where one of them, one of the girls, was complaining that the others never liked her, never accepted her?
Who would that have been?
I think it was Shrinking Violet. Like, I was never one of you.
Weird. I don't remember that. What issue would it have been in?
What did we read last week?
Hell if I know.
Were we reading Silver Age last week? No.
I don't know. It's on the spreadsheet.
This is a fun. We should turn this into a segment where we like
What
try
do
to
we
ask very basic
Yeah.
Legion questions at the end of the night and see how dumb we are.
What'd you just say? And then Tom and Mary Beerbaum say that they explain that the letters column for issue number 5, 2 issues ago, was left out, and also the credits for that issue number 5. What they actually say is story and pencils by Keith Giffen, and story assist and dialogue by Tom and Mary Beerbaum. It actually should be reversed. They say Keith Giffen, story assist and pencils. Tom and Mary Beerbaum, story.
Okay, so what's going on with the Legion Outpost quotes? Like, is it regularly Legion Outpost and just they changed the name for this one issue of the letter column?
I guess so.
Yeah, it is still Legion Outpost.
Yeah, I don't
Wasn't
know
it
why.
Legion Outpost in the previous series?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, like up to now, it was the same little box up there at the top of the letters page from the previous story, with like the Earth and the polymer shield and stuff. I don't know what this bridging the 5-year gap.
Well, it's still bridging the 5-year gap in the next issue.
Weird.
So
I wonder how long they keep doing that.
Maybe they decided to. I would guess it's just going to stay this way. Like,
could be
decided it was time for a new one because the next issue it's still bridging the 5-year gap.
It's kind of not quite as catchy as Legion Outpost.
I'd change it up every now and then, though.
If you say so.
Oh, guess what? I jumped up to issue 20 and it's Legion Outpost again. So maybe people got pissed off and they had to change it back.
They probably put it in the letters column that while not a lot of people liked it being called bridging the 5-year gap, there were some people who did like it.
Right.
I wrote a note on my little letters page here that I think it's kind of interesting that they eventually were outlawed from using Superboy or Mon-El or talking about Krypton and shit like that in the comic.
Right,
but in the letters page, they're still doing it. It's like it's all still part of the comic. Mon-El and Superboy and the Pocket Universe and Time Trapper. Like within the comments or the commentary or the dialogue between the creators and the audience, we can still talk about Mon-El and Superboy. It doesn't matter, as if they're still a part of the ongoing thing. You know what I mean?
Kind of. Are you saying they shouldn't have? Like, you're surprised that they were allowed to even do that?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but like in today's world, if you're forbidden from talking about such and such thing in this company's content, then even the letters page, I think, would be off limits, or there wouldn't be a letters page, obviously.
Right.
To me, it's just kind of interesting that, like, while we have to pretend that, from now on, we have to pretend that there's no Superboy, that the Legion of Superheroes came from the idea of whatever, the Justice League or whatever.
Right.
And that Mon-El is a guy from another planet aside from, I mean, I guess he wasn't from Krypton, but you know what I'm saying?
It would be funny if they did follow suit. So then people are writing in like, what happened to Superboy? And they respond, who?
Right.
Who's this character you're talking about?
They just have to stop answering letters that ask about Superboy and about Dev-M and Crypto and stuff. But it's like, I guess it's just, you cannot extricate that stuff no matter what, because the people who've been reading for 30 years, they're still thinking about that,
Right.
And they're still going to write in and ask these questions. And I guess it just it behooves the creators to publish those letters and answer the questions and talk about it, because
Right.
that's what this fan dialogue between the creators and the
Right.
fans has always been going on, and they're never going to stop talking about Mon-El, and they're not going to just start calling him Largand from Daxam instead of Mon-El from Superboy's big brother or whatever, you know?
Well, yeah. By the time you get several years on the other side of Zira, or I think people have forgotten,
Right, but like
or
immediately and for the
these
next
these
year.
people are dead. Like the people reading Legion now, like grew up on, you know,
Yeah.
the Archie Legion.
Yeah, I guess it's just funny to me that while it's off limits in the comic stories themselves, there's still 2 pages where they can talk about Superboy constantly if they want, even though,
Right.
and it's still part of the comic. Like to me, I read this and it's all part of the whole
Yeah.
continuum. Like these letters pages are part of the experience of reading a Legion of
Right.
Superhero comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even though we know that editorially, you can't, at this point, you can't write Keith and Tom and Mary and Al, they can't write a comic book in issue number 8 of Legion of Superheroes where Superboy shows up from the 20th century and saves a bunch of people, and then he high fives Mon-El, and they go and hang out with Supergirl and Dev-Em on
Mhm.
a whatever, a piece of
Right.
kryptonite or whatever. Like that's off limits. You can't do that. But then on the letters page, they could do that. They can make every letter somebody writing in being like, "Hey, do you remember that story where Superboy and Laurel Kent and Supergirl did this and that and this?"
Yeah.
And they can be like, "Yeah, this was cool," and blah blah blah. We can talk about that for 2 whole pages of text if we want, you know. And it's as if like the screwballs were like, "You can't put Superboy into your comic book anymore, we'll be mad." They just can't control this other stuff that's in the letters page.
Are you gonna put a button on it? Are we done?
That's it. That's the Legion of Superheroes, bridging the 5-year gap, letters column, whatever that means.
It's gonna remain bridging the 5-year gap till issue 16, I think.
Jesus Christ. See you in
Mm.
30 days.